So today we are going to just make some khichdi, which is also called tehri, which is like a rice, which is like rice mixed with lentils. So we are going to start with yellow lentils, which is specifically called tur dal. You can find it in any Indian store. And I've taken a little bit less than half a cup. So I'm just gonna take this and mix it with almost 1 cup of rice, and then here I've taken this basmati rice. It is usually better. You can't take Chinese rice with this, the sticky rice. You have to take either basmati or jasmine, the rice which is not sticky basically. So sushi rice is not going to be good for this. So this is half a cup, and I'm going to take another half cup. So the dal provides protein and the rice provides carbohydrates. So this is a nicely balanced diet. So I'm just going to wash this 3 or 4 times and then let it soak in water for 10 to 15 minutes. So here I'm washing the rice the third time, and this is like another time. You need to rub it and wash it, so all the dust sitting on the rice and lentils will just go away. So now you can see the water is starting to run clear, so which means our rice is thoroughly washed. I'm just gonna soak it up in some warm water. So I'll drain the washing water, and I have some hot water from the tap, and I'll let it fill this up, rinse it a couple more times, and then so we will cover this and let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. So this is all the basic ingredients that we will need. We're going to use just maybe a quarter of this, not the entire pepper. 1 tomato, 1 medium onion, 3 to 4 hot pepper, 2 cloves of garlic. So we're gonna finely chop the onions. We're gonna roughly dice the tomatoes. We're also going to finely chop a quarter of this bell pepper, and we have to finely chop the garlic and the hot pepper. So here I have the pressure cooker on high heat. So this comes in very handy when you're cooking rice, or in this case the khichdi, which is also a form of rice. So you can just lock this in, and here's the whistle, and you can just let it cook for 1 whistle, 2 whistles, and it is always foolproof. So yeah, here I have pressure cooker on high heat. We will add some about a tablespoon of oil in here. Yeah, that's all the oil we will need, and we will wait for the oil to heat up. Meanwhile, let me show you the ingredients that we had prepared. So here we are. This is finely chopped capsicum. This is roughly diced tomatoes. We have some peanuts, about a quarter cup, and we have 2 cloves of garlic and some green chili pepper, which is finely chopped. And here we have 1 full onion, which we have finely chopped again. And this was the rice which we have soaked. So this is everything that we are going to need to make this. So once the oil is heated up, we can start the tadka. So here you can see the oil is starting to come to temperature. So the oil has come to temperature, and here we are just going to add the basic spice. This is mustard seeds. We will wait for it to crackle. And yeah, you can see the crackling. So now it's time for cumin. We will add about half a teaspoon of cumin, and I will keep moving the pan so that it doesn't get. So we will fry the peanuts. So now we will add the chili pepper and garlic. We will add the capsicum now. Give it a stir. And we will add the onions. So I'll just add half the onions, and the other half we can eat it raw with the khichdi. So I'm going to save half of these for later. You want to ensure that peanuts are nice and roasted. Otherwise, they're not gonna taste that well. So yeah, take your time to fry the peanuts on low flame. So it's time for the spices now. I'm going to add some turmeric powder. Because we have a lot of khichdi to make, I'm going to add some more. Almost a teaspoon of turmeric powder and some red chili powder, and about half a teaspoon or almost a teaspoon of coriander powder. And I'm going to give it a mix. And we'll let the masalas and the onions fry for a little bit. We don't want to brown the onions. We just want it to not have the raw flavor. That's all. That's the target. And finally, I'm going to. So you can look at the state of onions. These are the masala and the onions have almost cooked. The spices. We don't want we don't want to cook it too much because we are anyway going to add water and take a whistle. So everything is going to dissolve in there, so you don't have to worry about keeping. You can always experiment with what level of doneness you want with your onions. You want them to be caramelized, or you just want them to be slightly raw. You can always experiment and see what you like. So here I'm adding the tomatoes. Give it a mix, and after tomatoes it is mandatory to add salt, so I'm going to add just a little bit of salt, just enough for the spices that we have in here, for the onions and for the tomatoes. So the rest of the salt we're going to add after we have added the rice and water and everything. So here we have the tomatoes. We'll let the tomatoes soften a little bit, so for that I'm just going to cover this with the lid. Please note I'm not closing the pressure cooker, so it is not pressurized. It's just covered with the lid and it is cooking. So here you can see the onions have softened up quite a lot, and now I'm going to add the rice in here. Here's our rice. I need to first drain all the excess water from here before adding it in. So here I have drained all the water from the rice, and you can see it has swelled up, almost doubled in volume. But we know we have taken 1.5 cup of rice. So you need to remember the measurement because we need to add twice the amount of water. and add in every grain of rice. I think we did a good job here. I'm just gonna give it a quick stir so that the rice and the masala, what we have prepared, it just coats every grain of rice and the pulses. So yeah, this looks good. Now we're just going to add some water and some more spices, of course. There's a lot of spices in Indian food. So I'm using the same cup, half cup measurement, and we need to add twice the amount of water. So this is water for the dal, and this is water for rice. A little bit less than maybe twice, but it also depends on what kind of rice you're using and everything. So here we are, and I'm just going to pour the water in and wash the spoon as I do it. So soak all the grains in water. So yeah, looks like we're going to have to use all the water that we took. And this looks enough water, but yeah, this should be good. So now we're going to add some spices in here. Here I have my spice box, and we need this garam masala. So I'm adding like a teaspoon of garam masala in here, and that's about it basically. It has all the spices and some chili powder. So we're going to have to wait until the water comes to a boil before closing the lid. And here's the salt. So I'll add about a teaspoon full of salt, and also I'm going to give it a taste, because if it needs some adjustments in the seasoning, it's always good to taste the water. The water should be a little bit saltier than the end product that you want. So yeah, it needs more salt. Yeah, but the flavors are amazing. So I'm going to just add a little bit more. Just taking a drop and giving it a taste. Perfect. So yeah, we'll wait for it to boil, and for it to come to a boil quicker, I'm just going to cover with the lid without the pressure, so that I can lift it up anytime. So here we can see the water has come to a boil, and we're just gonna cover this with the pressure cooker lid so that it pressurizes. It's too hot. Wait for one whistle, and then we'll take it off the flame. So here the pressure of the pressure cooker has been released, and I'm opening the lid. It smells so good. So because we have not used the sticky rice, the rice is very fluffy, and that's what you want. That's what you want to do. This is usually eaten just like that, but we're gonna make a complimentary dip using yogurt. So here I'll take a couple of tablespoons of yogurt in a bowl, and here, if you remember, we had some onions which we haven't used. And here I have also finely chopped some parsley. So I'm gonna just take like a tablespoon of onions from this bunch and add it in the yogurt, and just a little bit of coriander, which is parsley. And now we'll add some spices. So here I have some toasted cumin powder, toasted cumin powder, which I have roughly crushed in a mortar and pestle. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of, sprinkle a little bit of this, and then we'll need some more spices. Here I have the spice box, and from this we'll just add a pinch of salt and just a little bit of paprika powder, just chili powder. And if you want, you can add some raw cumin in here. You can also go ahead and add some coriander powder, but I just like these ingredients in here. So now I'm just going to give it a quick mix, and that should be all basically for the raita. So here we'll plate this up. That we prepared, which is a yogurt dip. So, a little bit of this, and we'll top this off with some clarified butter, which is known as ghee. So here's like 1 teaspoonful of ghee. Here it is, Khichdi Indian style. Do let us know if you make this in the comment section, and do let us know if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.